Well, let's give you the latest on the goings-on at Comair at the moment. Thousands of passengers have been left stranded after Comair's operations were suspended indefinitely yesterday, saying the airline did not adequately address safety issues. The suspension has affected passengers of low-cost airline Kulula and British Airways. Comair says that it is unable to confirm when it will start flying again. South African Civil Aviation Authority says that as long as it does not get guarantees from Comair, it's impossible to allow the airline to continue to operate. Let's get the latest then. We're joined via Zoom by SACAA spokesperson Phindiwe Gwebu. A warm welcome to you. Thank you very much for joining us here on SABC News, ma'am.
Thank you, Rifle.
It's Flo. We do understand that you've had talks today with Comair about the latest goings on and why, of course, you had to take them out the skies. Talk to us through those latest developments. You had said that you can't give any sort of guarantees about when those airlines, those airplanes will be allowed back to be operational. What sort of guarantees did you get from Comair? And in fact, if you can just give us a summary of what you really spoke about then today.
The Comair team, in fact, they are still in a meeting as I'm talking, meeting with the SACAA team.
Yeah.
They literally came to basically express their commitment in making sure that they close all of the findings. They've submitted which follows a letter that we sent to them last night indicating the gaps in the evidence that they had submitted. So they submitted some of the information around midday today, which we have a look at, and they've promised the meeting that we are going to get the rest of the other evidence that is related to the second level 1 finding. So the promise from our side is that from their side was that they are going to make to the SACAA inspectors so that as we go through the evidence and assess it, they are able to answer the questions that we have. This is just that we speed up the process and make sure that we're as soon as possible. So depending on the nature of the evidence that they gave today and the one they are still going to submit after this meeting, we're going to have a pretty good idea whether they're able to move forward with this or not. What
nature of evidence are we talking about here? I mean, you know, you've spoken about the fact that there needs to be some guarantees and there's been promises made by Comair, but you know, promises and guarantees are really meaningless without actual physical action. You know, and I suppose by suspending them, you're stopping something as dreadful as a plane crash from happening. So without the action, the guarantees are really quite meaningless. So when you're saying that promises were made, what are the nature of those promises and what is being submitted to you to show you that something is being done?
You see, the process of actually assessing the submissions that they make that and has gone through it to make sure that it aligns to what it is that they say they're going to do, and also to what the civil aviation regulations require of the operator. It's impossible for us to know. So, for instance, I can new evidence today, and we're still expecting some after this meeting. I can tell you that the process of actually engaging with that is such a robust process that we have to go through every piece of evidence show that they follow actually their safety management system. So in the absence of a proper assessment of the information, it's not possible for us to give even to the public to say that, okay, definitely today this is going to come to an end. So what we're looking for in terms of the substance of the evidence really is just a demonstration, say in their risk mitigation plans, that they are going up to 6. How do they go through that? So if they say we've done it, we then say, okay, show us that you've done it. Satisfies us, because what we're looking at, we understand that there's a principle of continuous improvement. So everything perfectly, but the comfort that we want is to know that they actually follow the system, because when SACAA approved the safety management system, it was on the basis that this is what's going to avert a type of catastrophe befalling any of our operators. And therefore, it's important then for them to demonstrate that they understand it, they live with that, they live to make sure that they implement that, and that if there are malfunctions in the process, is really not because the airline was ignoring their own manual. So that is really what we are looking for. So they've submitted for how they assess their risks, and also whether they do mitigation plans, and also whether they measure their risk and so on. So we're just looking for evidence in relation to those things.
All right.
This is important for us. Perhaps it may look like a paper exercise to other, because if at all an aircraft, for instance, in this case, the incidences that have just taken place in the recent past happened, it's important that they actually know exactly what went wrong, because they can't avoid something that they didn't know in the previous incident. And so that consistency then comes through in the way that they do their analysis, their root cause analysis every time they happens. And this is not something that just the CAA really is grabbing from the air. This is something that the airline has committed in, that is what they are going to do. So we just want that demonstration to be clear, because then it gives us comfort. At least they know what to do, number one, but also that it's important that they are going to be able to avert future catastrophes.
All right. Thanks for giving us a detailed explanation there. We certainly do appreciate it, and we'll certainly be in touch with you on the latest. Of course, these talks are, as you've said, ongoing. Thank you very much for your time, ma'am.